What's up, you data friends? It's Yanis here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to take some Excel raw data that looks like this and build this Power BI dashboard from scratch. This dashboard is basically showing the GDP per country, and also we have some forecasts for some years going ahead. Now, please note that this video is actually video part 3 of the time series forecast series of videos. And if you want to learn more about how we've generated those predictions, those forecasts, then you can go and watch the previous 2 videos where I go through the Python code of how to run an ARIMA model, an auto-ARIMA model, profit and regression, and then store the results and then export the results in this Excel file that we are going to use as an input for our dashboard. If not, and you're just interested about how to build a Power BI dashboard, then you can start this video from here. And before we jump into this video, let me just say that if you're new to my channel and you're passionate about data science, then please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and enabling notifications for my future videos. Right, first you have to open a new Power BI file, a blank one, and then we have to load some raw data into our Power BI. For this tutorial, I'm going to show 2 ways of how we can load raw data into Power BI, one via a single Excel file and the other one via SQL. I'm going to have the Excel file uploaded in my GitHub repository. I'm going to have a link in the video description so you can follow the same steps. Right, the first one is via SQL, so we have to click on Get Data and then click on SQL Server. Here we need to specify the server, so if I go back into SQL and then I quickly get the server, so I copy, this is the server name, and then I go back into Power BI, I paste it. I'm going to bring the raw data in as an import, which means that the raw data is going to be stored in Power BI, and if you select direct query, that means the data is going to be live. But for now, we're going to select just import, click OK. Then we need to select the database and the name of the table. I think this is the name of the table. Yep, that's the one. Click, you actually have to click it and then click load, and then we should have our raw data into Power BI under fields. There you go, you can see here is the name of the table and then the name of all the fields, so the column names. The second way of bringing data into Power BI is via Excel. Actually, there are multiple ways, but the second way I'm going to show you is Excel. So we click on Excel, then we need to select the file. So the file I want to bring in is, I think is this one over here. I click on Open. Here we will get a little preview of our data, and then we click on Load. And then we should have our raw data down here. There you go. As you can see, both of them have exactly the same column names, and this is because both of them it's the same data. However, one is coming from Excel and the other one is coming from SQL. Next, I want to resize my page so I have a little bit more space. So I go under Format, Page Size, and then I change this to Custom, and I set my width to 1500 and my height to 1500. Then I have to go into View and click here and then click on Fit to Page, so I use my whole page. Next, I want to change the color of my background, so again under Format, I go into Page Background and then I change this color to a custom color of this one. You can actually copy and paste this one or just type it as you see it. I click OK, and then I put the transparency back to 0 so we can actually see a very light purple color. Right, the next thing we want to do now is to add our title. So we go under Insert, we create a text box, and then we resize our text box to take about this much space. Then we need to add our title, so I'm going to quickly copy and paste this title. So I copy it. Go back to this one, I paste it, then we want this to be in the middle, maybe make this a bit smaller, and then the next thing we want to do is to add some borders. So I click on my visual, I go under visualizations, and then add the borders. I want to click on I want to change the color to this light gray over here, and then I also want to add a radius of 10. So what this is going to do is going to edge our corners, as you can see over here. The next thing I want to do is to add pictures. So I go under insert and then I click on an image, and then I need to find our images. So one of them is going to be my logo, and the other one is going to be just a random picture of GDP. There we go. Now I need to resize them and then put them at the top as I have it in my other dashboard. Next, we want to add our slicer. So it's going to be this country slicer you see over here. And in order to do this, we have to go under visualizations and click on the slicer. So this is going to create a slicer visual. Under the fields, we want to add the country because this is a country visual, as you can see. So we can make it bigger. Next thing now is to add the same border as our title, which is going to be this light gray we have over here. Same radius. Make sure our background is set on white. We also need to add the search. So from these three dots over here, add the search. So we can actually search for the country, let's say, so United States of America. And then we also need to remove the slicer header, add a title. The title is going to be country. We want to add it in the middle, size 14. Everything is fine. Right, next we need to go on and add our main visual, which is the GDP per capita across the years, and also the different forecast values based on the different models. In order to do this, we need to go back in our Power BI dashboard and then click on this line chart over here. Make sure you resize it so it takes all the space. I think it's up until here, if I'm not mistaken. Then we need to add our axis, which is going to be the years. So we need to get the date hierarchy where we have years and drag year under axis. And then under the values now, first thing we want is the actual value. So this is the actuals. There is no forecast going on here. So we have data up until 2017. And then we need to add all of our forecasts. And I'm going to start with the ARIMA validation value and then the ARIMA forecast value. Then I'm going to move on into the auto ARIMA. So auto ARIMA validation, auto ARIMA forecast. Then I'm going to move into profit. So first validation and then the forecast. And the last one is going to be the regression. So the validation and then the forecast. Right, now we need to make this look pretty and readable. So the first thing I'm going to do is to change the palette of colors because I don't like this one. I prefer the classic one. Next, I want to change these long titles. So I'm going to quickly go and copy the title from here and paste it in our new visual. So title, I copy this one, I go into our new, and then under title, I paste it. And also I want to change the font color to black, then the alignment into the middle, and then the size into 14. Next, I want to change the legend position to be in the bottom center. So we have everything down here. And also, because we have these long names now, it's very difficult to read them. So what I'm going to do now is to rename all these columns and remove the forecast value from all of them. So we have more space and we can view everything. In order to change the names, all you have to do is double click on it and just write over it. So this is going to be the GDP per capita. Click enter. The next one, I want to remove the forecast value. Same thing with everything else below. There we go. So everything is visible now. Right. Next, we need to add the borders and the white background. But I have just noticed that since we've changed the theme to the classic palette, all other visuals have lost their white background. So very quickly, I'm going to go back and add it. So under background, I enable it. And then I put transparency down to 0%. Same thing with this visual. So I enable the background, white, transparency 0. And also we need to change the title. You can see we've missed the title too. So I want the font to be black, and I want to put this back to 14 as it was before. And now what we can do, instead of manually adding those formats on this visual, we can actually click on this visual, go under home, click on format painter, and then touch this visual over here. So as you can see, it copied over the formats, which is the white background and then the edgy corners in the border. Right, next we need to change the colors and the shapes. And in order to do this, we click on our visual, under formats, we go under colors. And then for ARIMA validation and ARIMA future, we have light blue and then darker blue. So let's use the same colors. So I'm going to use like a light blue and then a darker blue, which is this one over here. Then for auto ARIMA, I think we had yellow. So for validation, I'm going to use light yellow. And then for future, I'm going to use dark yellow. Then for profit, we had red. So light red and then darker red. So I'm going to use this one. And then, sorry, for the future, this one over here. And then for regression, I think we had a light black, so I'm going to use this one, and then maybe a darker, so this one over here. Let me check again the colors. Yep, I think those are fine. Next, we need to change the shapes, so keep scrolling down. So actually, let me do this, shapes. Then I want to customize my series. For the GDP per capita, I want to increase the stroke, so it's going to be thicker, as you can see. Then for any validation model, I'm going to use a line style of dashed. Yep. So let me change all of them. Validation, dashed. Then this is profit validation, then dashed. And then this is regression validation, then dashed. And then for any future models, I'm going to use, I think it was, let me check again. So it's the ones with the circle. So I need to show the marker, and then the marker is the circle. So that looks fine. So let's change all futures to have this show marker, and then future, show marker, and then future, show the marker. There we go. I think it looks exactly the same as this one right now. And then if we test it quickly, so let's do a few countries. So Cyprus, Czech, Ecuador, Egypt, Fiji, Finland, France, Georgia, Germany, Greece. As you can see, it works fine with the graph adjusting to the country we select. Right, next we need to add these three cards we have over here, which is the GDP per capita, the year-over-year GDP per capita change, and then the regression trend. In order to do this now, all we have to do is click on, let me make this smaller, on the cards over here, and this is going to create a card down here. So I want to resize it and bring it at the top, add it over here, and also I want to copy the formats from this visual. So I click over here and then I touch on my card. In fields, I want to add the sum of value, which is the actual GDP. And then I want to go over here, add a title. So my title is going to be the same title as this one. So I'm just going to copy it quickly and then go over here and paste it. I want to remove the category label, and then I want to change the data label color. So I'm going to use this green, and then also I want to increase the size to 30. We do have a country selected, I think, so I'm just going to click somewhere and then unclick. There we go, 71 million. How much do we have over here? 4.4. And this is because I'm using the sum. Actually, yes, this is because I need to limit this card to only take the last value of the year, because the GDP of the country that we are going to select is not going to be the sum of all previous years. It's actually going to be only the value for the last year. So what I can do is that under filters, I can add the year over here, and then I can do a basic filter, and then I can select the year I want, which is 2017. The reason we use 2017 is because it's the last year we have actuals. After that is actually forecasting. So it's just predictions. It's not the actuals. So now we have the correct value. As you can see, it's the same value as the one we have over here. Right, next we want to add the rest of the cards, so these two, and in order to do this we want to click on this one and then copy it and paste it twice. Then we can move them down here, and then we can select these three cards and align them. So what we can do is go under format, align them on the left, and also distribute them vertically so they are equally distanced, and then we can make this smaller so everything is aligned. Now under this one we want to change the field, and the field is going to be the regression slope monthly change. So if I add it over here and I want to select the max because there is duplication in this field, and then I want to change the title, so the title is going to be the same as this title. I'm just going to copy it quickly and then paste it. There we go. I want to wrap the title like this, and I also want to change the color. I think the color is like a light. Is that blue? Is that, let's just copy the color. So if you want to copy the color under the, where is it? The data label, we can go and copy this color. Come over here and then paste it over here. There we go. The last one is the trend, so I want to change the field to the regression trend, so the direction, and then we want to get the last or the first is the same. No, actually the last, not the first, because there is duplication again, and we do have all countries, so the last is going to work better. Then I want to change the title, so the title of this one is the regression trend. So I go back, I go under the title, I change the title, and then in the data label, in the color, I want to add a rule. And this rule is going to be based on a rule that says if the slope is more than 0, then it's a positive trend, then give it a color of a green. And if the slope is less than 0, then it's a negative, and then give it a red color. So I'm going to change this, and it's going to be based on a field, and the field is going to be the regression slope. I want to use the max because there is duplication, and I want to say that if the value is greater than or equal to minus 99999 and it's less than 0, then give it a light red, actually give it a stronger red, and add another rule if the value is greater or equal than 0, and then is less than, actually if it's just greater than 0, and then if it's less than, I don't know, put the high value over there, then we can give it a green. Let's use this green, click OK, and as you can see it turned green because it is a positive trend. Right, next we want to create this summary table down here. To do this now, we go back into our visuals and we click over here that says add a table, and then we drag the table down here and we resize the table, something like this. Next, I want to touch on this visual and then click on format painter and then touch on my visual down here, so I'll make sure we have the same borders and the same background. Into values now, I want to add the country. Then I want to add the value, which is the GDP. We need to rename this one. Next, we want to add the change, which is the year-over-year change. So this one over here. And we also want to add the trend, if it's positive or if it's negative. Next, I want to go over here and then change the style to minimal, so it looks nicer. I want to reorder it by value. And then this is not working because actually the slope has duplication, so we have to use the maximum as we've done above here, and the trend we actually have to use the last one as we've done down here. There you go, you can see it works now. The next thing we want to do is to rename our column names, and very quickly I'm going to copy them from the other dashboard. So copy this one, come over here, paste it. Then the next one, copy, come over here, paste it, and then the last one is the regression trend. So copy, come back, paste, there we go. Now we want to make these values into dollars. So if we click on them and then click over here, it's going to make them dollars and also add 2 decimal numbers. Same thing with the value, so it looks nicer. 2 decimal numbers, there we go. And the last thing we want to do is to add a color scale on the year-over-year change as we have over here. So to do this, we need to come over here, go under conditional formatting, select our change, and then add the background as you can see it. And also click on advanced, change the colors into lighter colors. So lighter red and then lighter green. Right, next we want to limit the year of this graph to 2017 because again, it's summing all the GDP per capita for all years, which is wrong. So we're going to repeat the same process as we've done above here by dragging the year down here and then doing a basic filter and then selecting only 2017. There we go. If we increase this a bit more, and then the last thing we want to do is to add a title and then make the columns a bit bigger. So if we make this maybe 10 and then put them in the center, and then the title of this table is going to be the country details. So I'm just going to copy it and then I'm going to paste it under the title over here. There we go. Moving on, we want to add our map, which is this map over here. To add our map now, we need to click on this map at the top right. Then we want to resize the map to fit over here. Like this. Then we want to copy these formats and adjust them on the map. Then in the map we want to drag the value in the size and then the country in the location. Okay, value didn't work. There we go. And then we also want to limit this map to only 2017. So we show the latest. So we do a basic filtering, same process as before. We select 2017. Next, we want to change the style of this map. So under map styles, we want to make it as dark. Then we want to change the size of the bubbles. So let's check the size of these bubbles. If we go into map styles, sorry, if we go under bubbles, it's -17. So let's do -17 over here. Oops, -17, click. Doesn't work. -17. There we go. It worked now. Then we want to add a title. So the title is going to be this one over here. I'm just going to copy it. Then come over here, paste the title. And then if we want to test if this works, if we select one country over here, which is Australia, you can see it shows Australia, Austria, the Bahamas, etc, etc. By the way, if you feel that you're getting enough value out of this tutorial, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button, subscribe to my channel and enable notifications for my future videos. Right, next we want to add this multi-row chart we have over here that has all the mean square errors for our models. This card is actually going to help us choose the best model, the one with the least mean square error. To do this now, we need to go into our visualizations and then click on this multi-row card. Then we need to put it down here, make it smaller, and then we need to copy the visuals. So if I click over here, click on Format Painter, and then attach this, it's going to adjust the formats. Then we need to drag all the mean square errors into these fields. So the first one is the ARIMA mean square error, then the auto ARIMA, then we want the profit, and then we want the regression mean square error. Then we want to add a title, and the title is going to be mean square error. There we go. Copy this, then paste it under our title. Then we want to change the data labels. Let's change the color of the categories to be black again. There we go. And then let's also make all of them as dollars, so we know by how much we're going to be off. And let's give this 0, enter, then select this one, make it $, make this 0, enter, then make these dollars, make this 0, enter, and then regression one, dollars, 0, enter. And then let's check if this is the same as this one. There we go. We have ARIMA, auto ARIMA profit, and then regression. There we go. Maybe we can make the data labels a bit bigger. Yep, 11 works, 12 works. Yep, let's leave it on 12. So now if we were to make a forecast of what's the best model, we choose the one with the lowest mean square error. Actually, these numbers are very high for this GDP, which means, yeah, we need to use the max actually because we have lots of duplication. So I forgot to do this. So max, 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 and then max, and then we need to remove the max from the name. So this is going to be the correct numbers now. There we go. So if we have to choose a model now to make a prediction about the GDP per capita of Bahamas in 2023, we choose the one with the lowest mean square error. And the lowest is the auto ARIMA one, which is basically saying to us that our prediction is going to be off by $922 on average, and our prediction for 2023, it was going to be the auto ARIMA, so it was going to be this number over here, so it was going to be $33,208. Right, moving on now, the next step is to create this table down here, which has our future predictions for our 4 models. So it's only going to be from here to here. And it's actually going to be only 2023 actually. So it's going to be these last 4 numbers per country. So if we were to select again, as we said, Bahamas, we could actually see straight away the best model, which we have identified is the auto ARIMA. And then if we want to see the number, is this number over here. In order to do this table now, if we go back to our dashboard, we want to copy this table and then paste it below. Then we want to resize it to take about 50% of the space, so somewhere around here. Then we want to remove the GDP per capita year over year and the regression trend, and we want to add all the futures. So this is going to be the ARIMA future, this is going to be the auto ARIMA future, so this one over here. Then we want to add the profit future, and then we also want to add the regression future value, which is this one over here. Next, we want to rename all of them so they make more sense. So you can pause this video until I do this. There we go. Next, we want to filter out only 2023 because we are looking only on the last forecast date that we have, or the last forecast year that we have, 2023. And then we also want to change our title to be the country's GDP per capita for 2023. So if we copy this one and then we paste it down here in the title, there we go. And then we also want to use all the space. So if we just make everything a bit bigger, so we use all the space. There we go. So now if we select Brazil, for example, and then we want to select the best model. So the best model is actually our regression. And then if we were to choose a prediction, it was going to be the regression future, which is this one over here. And the last visual we have for this dashboard is this visual down here, which is basically a bar chart that shows the GDP per capita per country, only the future forecast for 2023. So it's these numbers we have over here. And to do this now, all we have to do is, let's unfilter the country. We can copy this table now and paste it next to it. And we are going to represent these tables numbers in a bar chart by just changing the visual type. So if I resize it quickly, so all I have to do now is click on this cluster bar chart, and you can see that it used the same fields and values as we have on this table, but now we represent it in a bar chart versus the table that we have over here. What we have to change now is just the legend position. So I want to take this into the bottom center, and also the colors. For the colors, I want to follow the same colors as above here. So I'm going to go into the data colors. For ARIMA future, I'm going to use this dark blue. Then for auto ARIMA, I'm going to use the yellow. Then for profit, I'm going to use the red. So it's the red we actually have. And then for the regression, I want to use something dark. So it's going to be this black over here. And if we want to quickly test if all the visuals work, we can just click on random countries, as you can see over here, and you can see that all the visuals are interconnected and they readjust based on the country we select. Right, so this is it for this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and you've gained enough value out of this tutorial. And if you feel like you did, I would really appreciate it if you click that like button, subscribe to my channel and enable notifications for my future videos. If you have any questions, then please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this tutorial and I'm going to see you in my next video.